Salam Sejahtera, I'm SOORYA MUTTU with Prime at 5 in our headlines. World Bank says Malaysia's economic recovery largely depends on the National Immunisation Plan, and COVID-19 Eradication Agency to be set up to encourage and assist community register for vaccine. The 5 p.m. news in full. Hello and good evening. Malaysia's gross domestic product (GDP) is projected to grow by 6% in 2021, a more moderate pace than the previously estimated 6.7%. The World Bank said the growth is expected to be supported by the gradual strengthening in domestic demand following the vaccine deployment beginning March 2021, as well as cautious improvements in external demand. In the economic update for East Asia and the Pacific, uneven recovery report released today, the World Bank said the strength and timing of Malaysia's economic recovery, however, will depend largely on the timely availability of an effective mass vaccination program. The vaccination program is expected to cover at least 30% of the population by August 2021. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Special Functions, Datuk Sri Mohammad Redzwan Mohammad Yusof said 68% of Malaysians want to get the COVID-19 vaccine jab based on statistics of the National Disaster Management Agency, or NADMA. According to NADMA statistics, only 16% of the people in the country are still unsure whether to receive COVID-19 vaccine shots or not. Speaking in Putrajaya, Datuk Sri Redzwan said the country's target is to get 80% of the people vaccinated. As such, information disseminated on the vaccination program should be accurate so as not to create suspicion among the people, apart from seeking the cooperation of all parties to ensure the success of the program. In a related matter, the Minister said the COVID-19 Eradication Agency, ABC-19, comprising volunteers, would be set up to encourage and assist the community register for COVID-19 vaccines. Apart from that, the District Disaster Management Committees, JPBD, have been told to activate the Disaster Operation Control Centre, or PKOB, which would act like a war room to launch ABC-19 mobilisation. ABC-19 will manage vaccination registration and the volunteers would be at district and state levels.
Hari ini kita dah pun dapat 8 NGO yang mau berdaftar sebagai ABC-19 yang sukarelawan berjumlah lebih kurang 15,000 untuk menambah kekuatan jentera sukarela itu sendiri dan memberi maklumat. Kita bekerjasama dengan Jabatan Penerangan, perkara-perkara yang melibatkan apakah perlu kita menidakkan usaha untuk diberi vaksinasi, memberi pengetahuan kepada masyarakat sebab kita mahu orang ramai seramai mungkin untuk menyertai program vaksinasi ini.
The Johor government will be roping all of its various departments and agencies to get more people to register for COVID-19 vaccination. Menteri Besar Datuk Hasni Mohamad expressed concern that only 27% of people in the state have registered for the National COVID-19 Immunisation Program through the My Sejahtera app. He hopes that all sectors within the government will work together in getting Johorians to register immediately. This will enable people to get the vaccination shots under Phase 2 and Phase 3. Meanwhile, the Perak Information Department is targeting to register 90% of the Orang Asli community for COVID-19 vaccination through the Info on Wheels, or IOW program. Its director, Muhammad Taib Ubah, said the IOW program would kickstart tomorrow at Kampung Sungai Kara, Lenggong, before venturing to other places that have been identified. He said the number of people who have registered from the Orang Asli community is rather low, adding that to get the Orang Asli community in Perak to sign up for the COVID-19 vaccine, the Information Department was also working with the Department of Orang Asli Development, the Ministry of Health, the Police, the Menteri Besar's Office and several other agencies. Even though there is about a 9% increase in the overall cost of performing the Hajj this year, the amount to be borne by the pilgrims has yet to be decided. Lembaga Tabung Haji (TH Hajj) Executive Director Datuk Sri SALLEH Syed Abdul Rahman attributed the rise to the Saudi Arabian government's decision to increase the value-added tax (VAT) from 5% to 15% in July 2020. The overall cost to be borne by pilgrims will be announced after the Saudi Arabian government gives the final word on the implementation of Hajj this year. He said this during a press conference at Menara Tabung Haji in Kuala Lumpur.
Seperti mana kita semua maklum bahawa kos haji pada tahun 2019 dan juga pada tahun 2020 adalah sebanyak 22,900. Ya. Dengan mengambil kira pada tahun semasa ini ada beberapa peningkatan kos, ya, dan juga kita mengambil kira beberapa faktor-faktor yang lain. Jadi dengan itu kos, ya, kita ambil kira kos, bukan bayaran haji, ya. Kos haji pada ketika ini dengan mengikira percukaian dan sebagainya ialah pada kadar yang 25,000.
On another matter, Datuk Sri Syed Saleh also advised prospective pilgrims who had received an offer letter to perform the ritual to immediately register as recipients of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Memandangkan musim haji yang makin hampir, kita hendaklah membuat persediaan awal. Bukan dah bermaksudnya sudah ada haji tahun ini, tidak. Tapi ini adalah sebagai persiapan awal untuk para bakal-bakal haji yang nak pergi haji, hendaklah melalui proses ini. Jadi saya harap bahawa bakal-bakal haji untuk mendapatkan suntikan vaksin COVID-19 ini perlu mendaftar dengan MySejahtera. Tanpa mendaftar dengan MySejahtera, maka pihak Kementerian Kesihatan tidak dapat nak memanggil mereka untuk mendapatkan suntikan tersebut.
Next up in our bulletin, Thailand urges calm after death of COVID-19 vaccine recipient. Welcome back. In world news, Thai health officials rushed to calm public fears today after confirming a man had died 10 days after receiving a COVID-19 vaccine earlier this month. Senior health official Sopon Mekton said the cause of death was from an abdominal aortic aneurysm and rupture, which he was confident was not related to the vaccine. The man was inoculated on March 3rd and died on March 13th. The health official said the man had a pre-existing health condition and had undergone surgery in January, describing it as, quote, a time bomb in the body. The country's vaccination campaign will continue. South Korea said today it will extend its COVID-19 distancing rules, which include an outside dining curfew and ban on gatherings of 5 or more people for 2 weeks as its daily new cases hit a 1-month high. Under the rules, restaurants and cafes must close by 10 p.m. and gatherings of more than 4 people are restricted, with a few exceptions. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency reported 494 new cases as of yesterday midnight, the highest number in 35 days, amid a steady stream of cluster infections at workplaces, public facilities and religious gatherings. South Korea's total infections stood at 100,770, with 1,716 deaths. Elsewhere, Nepal has eased quarantine rules for visitors in an effort to attract more climbers to Mount Everest, officials said, after the pandemic wiped out last year's season and devastated the tourism industry. According to director at the country's tourism department, Myra Acharya, visitors will be tested on arrival and will have to stay in quarantine only until their results come back negative under a policy made public yesterday. However, they will still have to present proof of vaccination or a negative PCR result before arriving in the country. The death toll in fire at a COVID-19 hospital in India's Mumbai city rose to 9, as several persons are still feared trapped inside it. Speaking to Xinhua News Agency over the phone, Deputy Commissioner of Police Prashant Kadam said 6 more dead bodies have been recovered, taking the total to 9. He said more people are still missing and feared trapped inside, adding that police are trying their best to reach out to them. The fire had broken out late last night inside the hospital, which was converted into a COVID-19 facility in the wake of the second wave pandemic in the country. And finally in sports, 8 esports titles including League of Legends, Wild Rift and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or PUBG have been announced for the upcoming 2021 SEA Games in Hanoi, offering 10 gold medals for grabs. According to the Vietnam Recreational and Electronic Sport Association, or VARESA, the venue for the competitions will be at the Vietnam National Convention Center in Hanoi. The 2021 SEA Games, scheduled to take place from November 21st to December 2nd, will feature 40 sports. And that concludes Prime at 5 p.m. from RTM's News Centre Rachin and Kasapuri, Kuala Lumpur. The bulletin was prepared by TANUSHA, DEVI. And now a reminder to stay safe by taking some simple precautions such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding crowds and cleaning your hands regularly. The next updates will be at 6 p.m. Salam Sejahtera.